which one's going to be progressing today. So Nomads banning first, and they, of course, are the defenders.
Well,
Montaigne? Interesting.
That is not someone you see a ton on bank. Not that it's unheard of.
No, I mean, yeah, no, the
You used to.
The push from server still happens with Montaigne.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's more infrequent now than it used to be. Because I feel like when teams like Penta were bringing out, a lot more teams were kind of copycatting it, and then it kind of fell off because we saw it just fail a lot as well.
That's true. It has seen a mixed set of results, but it still happens. It's just like you said, it's less frequent than it once was. Jaeger, the next man here for the defense.
So Lion's definitely still on the board for one thing, and definitely some interesting mixed operator bans here. No Hard Breacher getting banned as well, so all three of those are still available. And then as well, none of the usual suspects on defense either. Both Echo and Mira are still going to be available as well. So it's down to Jaeger and Maestro of all the things to get banned. Jaeger ban is always interesting because that means grenade kills are coming.
Yeah, that's a big emphasis going for. Well, it will have to be a big emphasis for both teams, and that's why you can see right now, right off the bat, the Ying being picked out by Cookies. Makes a lot of sense why that Jaeger has been banned now. And, of course, it looks like you might just be trying to 6-pick onto the Ying, moving past the reveal phase.
Well, it should be interesting, too. It looks like they're bringing out a Clash and a Mirror, so they're going to have the ability to do a lot of just sitting and watching in certain areas, which will give them some intel advantage, but Rainbow actually going to sneak off of that. Cookie's doing exactly what you said he was going to do into that 6th pick, and Rainbow's actually still going to be bringing an intel op, just a different one, that's going to provide a lot more spacious visibility, which, I mean, of the two in terms of visibility, you're going to get a lot more of that with the Black Eyes because there's all these big open spaces you can see a lot of across the map with those. So that's not a bad one, especially when you're trying to play open area here like this. You want to see where the approaches are coming from because there are a lot of angles of approach on this bomb site.
Interesting reinforcement there from Sour. He's going to be actually reinforcing 2 walls on the south side of Kitchen. Okay, so I guess what he's trying to do is alleviate any potential pressure that can be applied via the printer room into Kitchen, though he does also make it harder to hold printer room.
Yeah, more often than not, you want that initial wall open to be able to put pressure on, or at least soft, and be able to shoot through it.
You cannot vault that. If there's an open hole there, it's just not something that's easy to vault. So very peculiar setup from Nomads so far. Not necessarily, you can't call it bad necessarily because we haven't seen it be played yet, but it is counter to what is considered meta on this site.
To be fair, though, a lot of the meta defenses on the site haven't been very successful. So
I mean, I'd say it's negative results for the defense usually on open area.
Not to say that they aren't good defensive setups, just they haven't shown the success rate you would hope for. So maybe this will have maybe because it's not meta, because they're not as used to attacking it, we'll see a little bit more of an unpredictable result. But either way, Yellow is going to take control of Tellers very quickly, playing that aggressive Skies-like fast approach here. And then so of course what you have your entry doing here. We've talked about entry operators kind of falling off a little bit in the current meta, but definitely we've seen quite a bit of it today.
Well, actually, Ashe in particular has been flying back into the meta recently. I'm not sure what it is, but she's been having a pretty heavy resurgence, and I think the role is more, like the dedicated fragger, that role has taken a bit of a hit recently, but the Ashe play has soared as of late, and I think it was, coming off of Paris was really when it started.
Yeah. Very true. We'll see if it pays off for them this round, though, as Yellow is still alive, making that slow push, and he's working some angles now instead. He's a little wary going into that 90-degree angle of the admin office, trying to push in here, looking for anything hanging up on that ceiling he could take advantage of. There are definitely still people playing above that with Tomas and Rainbow hanging out up there, as well as 3 people down on site. So far, a decent amount of map control, and they're going to start opening the wall. Chapstick blowing the wall right into Kitchen. That's going to force Excreation and Glitch to actually find crossfire angles and have some success. There we go. Chapstick the one to win that fight, though.
Nice shot there from Chap on the Glitch, and Nomads not in a great position after losing both of their mirror windows effectively. Thomas will take out Billboard. Before Yellow able to refrag immediately onto Rainbow, as well as getting the down onto the flanking Legion. You can see that the Candelas will be used in earnest. A little bit wasteful there, but he's the diffuser. And oh, what a flank from Excretion. As Cookies goes down, Yellow on low HP, also potentially a victim soon here. Excretion also on very low HP. So it's going to be a hard fight, but he still has the diffuser in a way. It's on the other side of the wall, but he knows he has the attackers pushing to get it. Now he's got the positional advantage as he starts to cut off that rotation, but he's not looking the right direction. Manages to take out Talon, so he's got 2 1 HP effectively attackers left to eliminate. On 0-0-0 though, facing his own mirror window and looking the wrong way, he will easily take a bullet and survive through the wall. The defuse plant has gone down though, and Thermite right in front of him, not spotted by Excretion. Chapstick will shut down that Mira. So Sinister take first round.
That definitely got pretty close there, but towards the end, man advantage clearly in the attacker's favor. Nicely done by Sinister, who had, I think, a good swift initial take of most of the map. Definitely paid off in the end, gave him some extra time to be able to play with. A few misplays there in terms of trying to take out the guy that's underneath the desk, not realizing that he'd already downed him using a Candela a little wastefully, as you said. Because he didn't realize he downed him, he was trying to hit him through the wall, trying to put on extra pressure to make sure that he could get the kill. And in swinging so wide and firing the entire time at the desk actually cost his own life due to that flank. So, like, a few misplays there, but overall, a good execute by Sinister. They're going to try open again. Well.
Zcreation, having in that last round staggeringly poor awareness of where his opponents were. This is one thing I really want to take away, because he had a potential to win that round. It was a nice try, to be certain, and as he said, you know, going back to open area. I really question this decision. I'm not really behind going to open area twice in a row, considering how directly they were countered the first attempt.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're going to put a little more effort into stopping this wall getting open, for example, just putting 4 bandit batteries on it, because there's not like a Thatcher or anything on the other side to be able to clear those.
This is a Twitch, but it's not true. It's not an ideal operator to take out batteries.
It's a long angle to sneak around there.
Yeah, it definitely is. So you're going to have to come around that corner and pretty immediately hit one of the bandit batteries. But
the upside, though, is if he puts all 4 on, there's nothing left to trick with.
Right. So we'll see if he decides to trick or if he decides to go for that just immediate foreplay. Same exact bulletproof camera being placed upstairs to give some information.
I mean, I don't think that was terrible last time, but I don't think it also really did a whole lot because they didn't really attack so much from there. A lot of the attack was, where you see here, concentrated through tellers from lobby. Yellow pretty much repeating what he did last time. Billboard going to drone him in, make sure he's clear for this approach, and take control of that because that does offer the ability to start to get in. Let's see if this time they try and clear out more of the top floor. Last time they weren't so focused on that. But it didn't seem to matter too much. They were able to manage to take most of the site regardless, as long as Chapstick's able to get that kitchen wall open yet again.
And I'm sure he will be, unless Nomads Bandit has something to say about it. That's, of course, going to be Glitch. And Cookies trying to address the roamers that are playing upstairs. We saw this from Nomads last time, and it was not very successful. But they're doing it yet again. They're going to try once more. I mean, it's a dangerous thing to try and roam that top floor so heavily. But considering Sinister just pushed them back last time, didn't necessarily get those kills, I can't argue with the decision-making process with Nomads.
Yeah, I mean, it's the case where they just have to execute on those decisions and make them, you know, pan out for them. But so far, only 1 death just now by Talon, but that is the smoke. That is meaning a lot less time going to be burned off. Nice goo mine coming up. That is going to give away some positional information. Does get caught, but it looks like they are more concerned with taking the top floor this time. Yellow actually taking a different approach, possibly going to try and take through the door. That's going to give away his position a little bit, shooting that camera. And they're going to have to start to collapse here within the next 30 seconds or so. But Chapstick does finally get that. As I say that, you were mentioning earlier about Glitch, bandit tricking, and that is a success. I imagine Chapstick's got 1 more left, but he's got to make it count.
He's doing about a half and half bandit trick. It's such a large wall. He's got 2 pre-placed and now 4 pre-placed as he seems to have given up on the actual tricking and has just decided to leave the batteries down. Yellow, a very nice shot there onto Sour. Slowly peeking in through the doorway, just looking for any fight that he can be given. And Thermite, instead of opening up the kitchen wall, will just decide to open up one of the drop-downs. And Thomas is going to take out Yellow as he pushes into the site, so no more for the Ash. But Cookies takes on Excretion, and a very nice shot indeed through the drop-down. Glitch, though, good positioning onto Talon. And Chapstick will take out Thomas as he pushes into open area. The final defender is Glitch, and he will be very, very thoroughly blinded by the Candelas. But it doesn't look like Sinister actually knows where he is, and he might be able to see the defuse planter on so little time, he might be able to win the round just off that. And yes, indeed, the down and then the drop followed by the TK from Billboard on the Cookies. Absolute chaos for Sinister, and Nomads take their first round.
Glitch the easy MVP of that round. First bandit tricking and then getting hit by at least 2 Candelas and somehow turning it around. What was that plant spot? That was the biggest mistake of all. Compounded by the team kill. Just a terrible, terrible finish by Sinister that round.
Yeah, they were planting exposed to small office and they didn't check small office.
Well, we threw some Candelas in there. No one can hide under the desk or anything. We're fine.
Oh, man.
A misplay I imagine they won't make again, but it is only 1-1. They managed to win the first round fairly effectively, but at least Nomads was able to somewhat prove the effectiveness of their open area defense, despite the fact that it was more due to mistakes by Sinister. But well played by Glitch. Nicely done dropping at the last second so they couldn't win off of kills.
Definitely the MVP for that round. Now, they are going to defend the basement as their secondary, so we're not going to see anything crazy happen here. Although, I mean, open area is, I think, widely considered to be the least defendable site on this map. CEO and Archives are seeing a lot of play, actually, recently, and open as well. You know, honestly, everything on Bank is I think, more in the meta these days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is still the best bomb site for the most part, depending on how well you can defend it. It really does kind of come down to the operators that are available sometimes, though, to be able to pull that off. But there's so many useful ones for defending this site. You've got Pulse, you've got Smoke, you've got Echo, you've got Maestro. There's a lot of good operators, and you can only ban 2, so there's a good chance you'll get quite a few of them that are very effective in this. But some of it comes down to, like, some of the players are very, very good at holding stairs. You've got 2 important stairs, the ones you just saw Legion throwing his goo mines on, the Skylight stairs, and then the ones that the server stairs that we were mentioning, talking about earlier when we were talking about Alibi with Slash, how important those are to defend and how much utility can get dedicated to holding those. If you can hold those for a long time, it definitely pays off. Yellow just pushing and aggressive, doesn't realize he's down the Pulse. He's going to realize it now, seeing all that blood trail there, and going to be able to finish the job. And that is a Pulse who could have been very useful in stopping the plant later, now being punished for his aggression.
So yeah, just a heads up for future reference, when you bring a Pulse on basement, basically what you want to do with him is stick him in the vault, and he can then, you know, heartbeat detect into the server and call out when that default plant happens. He also has a C4, so you can deny the plant indirectly, which is great. So it's a really useful piece of utility. And as you said, it's now gone because he, for some reason, was inside of server.
Well, the upside is they still have an Echo drone. You have the Echo playing in Vault instead. He's going to set that Yokai drone up on the roof. I imagine at some point that's going to give the same visibility in some ways as a Pulse. So assuming they don't catch it, they can still get the same basic effect.
Yep, and it's definitely not a full loss here for Sinister, though. The Yokai drone as well is going to deny that diffuse plant. So good job to Nomads, and Sinister are going to be slowed up despite getting that Pulse kill.
Now they're just at this point having to try and bait it out and trying to take out that Yokai drone, but there's still smokes to be part of this as well. C4 unfortunately misses, so that is definitely not going to be as effective. And the Pulse dying as well also meant one less C4, but Chap gets down in the meantime. That is going to put him at low health, which means Smoke is much more likely to be able to finish off with a kill. Thomas hoping to get a lucky impact nade there, not working out, but a lot of utility left to stop this out, and only a minute left for Sinister.
That's plenty of time to get this default plant, but you can see that Nomads has got a lot more aggressive. Excretion just looking for a fight, and he will enter into one. Very many lit players here on SinisterGG. They're not in the best position to get this execute as more of those smokes start to come down. Gotta imagine Glitch is low on smokes at this point, possibly only one left. Candelas are starting to roll down, and you can see they're being thrown behind the site and into the site itself. Billboard will take out Expression. Glitch gets a gas canister's kill, 2 for Thomas as he peeks wide into the doorway, and Sinister will be backing away from that, bruised and bloodied. Still Yokai drone in play, and Billboard unable to spot it, but Talon is able to actually find it eventually, which means we might actually see a defuse plant, but it's in default spot, and Thomas gets another kill. He's going for the 4. He will get the 4, and Nomads take another round.
A lot of great plays from Thomas there. I mean, definitely just keeping the pressure on from that doorway. Every time they thought they had control, they lost it due to his popping up because they had to be so concerned about Red Hallway. And some of that, again, is due to the operator bans and the way those worked out, definitely not in their favor there. So nicely done. I mean, the advantage they had was the Jaeger being banned, and they're trying to capitalize on that with the Candelas, but it's just not really paying off in the end.
No, definitely not. CEO office will be the next site. So we're going all over the place here from Nomads, and they might even make it to every single site if they defend Archives next.
Hopefully, hopefully Teller's Archives is next, and we can see, that way we can compare and contrast what are their good bomb sites.
It's always fun, yeah, to see everything played.
Yeah.
Now, so far, open area was definitely not a good site for Nomads. They did manage to win the second attempt, but it was all only, thanks to the clutch from Glitch, basically. On that basement hold, they were nice and even, especially considering they lost their pulse so early on. That was a really nice defense. If they had had the pulse, you got to imagine Nomads would have had a relatively easy time of holding that out.
Yeah, just so much delay utility, even with the Maestro being banned, they had pretty much everything else in their favor to deny. So definitely working out for them. We'll see though if Sinister can bring it back. They're only 1 point behind here, but so far their attacks have been pretty stunted, despite the fact that they were mostly attacking a weaker bomb site initially, which they were only able to win 1 of the 2 times. I feel like definitely some mistakes coming out from Sinister in terms of their attacks. We're seeing, I'd say, a little bit of sloppiness coming out from them to an extent. They're just not seeming to read into the way that Nomads are playing their defenses and capitalize on that. It seems like they're trying to play either the way they want to, the way they expect to, and Nomads is kind of denying that to an extent.
Sloppiness is definitely the right word, and they're not really adjusting very much.
We'll see though. I mean, this is the first map. The halfway point hasn't hit yet. A lot can change here, and as I said, it's only 1 point behind. But I'm definitely seeing some strength from Nomads, although not right there. What was he doing? And Yellow finds a second one onto Glitch. Those are 2 important operators that should have been in sight. Shut down early. That is...
They were in sight, apparently.
Well, yeah, I mean, the long angles, though, that is what you don't want to give up. Nicely done. A great angle play.
2 doorways and 2 windows to get that kill. Well done to Yellow.
Yeah.
Denying the mirror window and also taking out the smoke to boot.
You don't usually see an Ash on the rappel either. That was a definitely interesting choice. But there we go, opening up to a nice surprise from Rainbow.
But a refrag from Talon and a second for Talon, leaving just the castle. 1 versus 4, not a great spot for Sour, and he will be droned out, but not spotted actually by Bill, who's going to actually hopefully eventually spot the castle in that receptions. Either way, the diffuser has been planted, and now the fight has started. Billboard doing some damage, but Chapstick ultimately the one to get the final kill. Sinister will take their second round, so nice even 2-2 here.
Well, after we were just talking about Sinister being sloppy, it just, I mean, a lot of credit to Yellow, though, for that round. Absolutely, because, I mean, had he not gotten those 2 kills in particular, that site would have been so much harder to take. It wasn't just that he got 2 kills, it was 2 important kills for taking the site, and he opened the site wide up by doing that, and they were just absolutely able to capitalize on what was left. Unfortunately, not going to go Teller's Archives for their last bomb site. They are, rather than do CEO again, they're just going to go straight for open. This seems like a questionable decision to be made.
Yeah, so open area was really not Nomad's side. They defended it the first time, they got absolutely destroyed. The second time around, they almost got absolutely destroyed, but Glitch managed to clutch it. So this is definitely a risk, but they seem to be dead set on holding their primary bomb site.
Yeah, they're going to give it one more go. Hopefully this time going to be able to do it a little more successfully. But Chapstick's going to read into that bandit tricking this time, probably not fall for it the same way, and get that open a lot sooner. Again, though, they don't have a whole lot to be able to stop those batteries. Not even the Twitch this time means they're going to have to find a different way. Perhaps there's some angles from above?
I don't think they were imagining that Nomads would go to this open area defense again. If they had expected this, they would have brought a Thatcher. But it looks like they're more set up to attack maybe Archives.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case where they couldn't have gone Lockers again. They could have gone CEO again. But Teller's Archives would have been, or would have made more sense, I would say. But
you could also go CEO again. I mean, CEO could have been a completely different story if they hadn't lost 2 players basically for free to Yellow rappelling on the main door.
Yeah, I can't imagine they were going to fall for that a second time. So it does seem like that might have been the better choice. But maybe they just felt like, you know, we don't have a whole lot of confidence in this defense anymore.
Well, open area, not exactly one to instill confidence either, but it's seemingly their most practiced as they seem to as they're going back to it. Sinister going to be putting emphasis on the top floor. They want to clear it out, get any roamers pushed downstairs, and they are doing the typical push in through the front door as they did the last 2 times they attacked this open area.
Well, they're going to have to make sure they get enough map control to make this work again, and Yellow not playing the same aggressive operator he had been before. It's going to take it a little bit differently, as again, probably expecting a different bomb site, but he's still going to be useful in the site because there are castle barricades he could potentially open, although that might be better for Cookies to do a little bit safer. Nice Legion Mine there is going to at least notify them that he is playing towards those upstairs, but no one's actually going to push on that information, so that might end up not doing a whole lot for them as a team. We've seen a lot of Tomas just throwing out goo mines in situations where they just get shot right after, but it also has been useful for identifying specifically where Yellow has been a lot of the times.
Interesting Claymore in the middle of the stairs. I guess it's just to, you know, give prompting. It will do just that. The control here for Sinister is well established. They also have the right tools for the job. Bringing the Habana means that they can open up all these drop downs, and anything that Nomads didn't want open is not going to be stopped anymore. Rainbow is playing mute, but does not have any jammers on the kitchen wall, and the Bandit's too far away. That's Glitch, a huge mistake from Nomads. Means that Sinister now has the avenue that they also wanted. Bill will also take out X, so good kill there for Bill.
Looks like he was going to maybe shoot the canister, but decided he didn't want to give away his position just yet. So hopefully he's still going to get that open. Bill, he's finishing up with a second one. Fortunately, some missed shots from Chapstick there.
But a double for Bill, and he's looking pretty good right now. The mirror window is still established, but they're not really helping with anything at this point since the SinisterGG have managed to open up behind them, and you can't really play them as a defender anymore. Interesting lack of information here that Chapstick has to watch the server stairs. Rainbow trying to push up main stairs will die to Yellow. Glitch gets Chapstick, but Billboard shuts him out, so 3-4 Bill, but Talon the final kill onto Thomas. And Sinister take the last round of the first half, ending it 3-2 in their favor.
Well, again, wondering why they went to open areas. They lost it.
In terms of the extra, just the pure skill, they seem to be having a lot of situations where they were just purely out fragging Nomads.
Well, they have the experience and the pedigree to be at that point.
Exactly. But Nomads, on the other hand, have managed to take some rounds away. So this is not all over yet. In fact, far from it. Just 1 round away from this being a nice and even match right now. So Nomads will be going on to attack, and Sinister on the defense. It looks like we're going to have lockers, so the basement as our first hold here from Sinister.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to try open area as their primary. They are going to sneak in a Clash 6-pick, though, so that is our first Clash actually played here, I believe, because the one time it was going to be picked in the first match, it was 6 picked off of.
I think it was multiple times it was 6 picked off on the first match. It was like, hey, we're going to play Clash. No, we're not, turns out. But
JK.
You know, good operator, definitely. Just not seeing any play earlier.
Well, we'll see if it factors in this round here. I think Billboard probably could do a good job on it, but remains to be seen. They are going to also bring a pulse down here for lockers. Hopefully Talon's not going to play that overly aggressively into the servers, because that's what Billboard could do. Billboard can play it very aggressively. He could go up and just block that sewer entrance even if he wants to, in terms of trying to stop them from creeping on in. Although obviously you don't want to stand too close, because you can become a good victim to melee if you don't quick switch fast enough to go for a kill. But it is definitely a case where, while Clash isn't meant for 1v1s, you could still pull them off if you have the right timing. Probably better than Monty.
You can see Cookies is contemplating spawn peeking from the back door there.
Don't do it.
Not exactly a solid strategy, but he was definitely thinking about it for a second. Now, looks like it's just going to be drone clear here for Nomads. They're going to want to open up the drops in the open area. But first they have to establish, hey, there's nobody here. Woo, we can push in, easy peasy. And once they've done that, they open up the drops, and then you could apply a lot of pressure to the site. There's not really anything the defenders can do about this. A lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll try to roam heavy, above open area or in open area. But Sinister not taking that risk, because it is very much just that, a risk. I definitely agree with that calculation. 1 minute used here before Nomad starts opening up the drop downs. A huge thing that confuses me is Glitch is the first one in. He's the entry fragger as the Habana. Should there be any roamers, that right there means you just lost all the potential to open these drop downs.
That was definitely a lot of confidence in their droning, I would say, at that point. Maybe
Agreed.
overconfidence. I think that was a mistake doing that first, but at least not punished.
Yeah.
The droning covered it to an extent, but people can move very quickly in this game. So just because you drone something doesn't mean it stays clear. They are going to pop their first Lion EE1D, though, to try and keep it clear while they start to take this map control and put pressure down into the servers from the sewers. This is where those Candelas will come into play, into clearing behind that server, as they know someone is behind it now, and Jaeger is banned, so nothing they can do to stop this. Cookies just has to stay alive, and he's even overhealed to make sure he'll do so.
Here comes the rush, though, from Rainbow, and it will secure the kill. Cookies goes down, and X will take out Yellow thanks to a Claymore. So that's that rotation you were talking about by the main stairs back into open area. Clearly, there was the Claymore in a good position to deny that. You can see the pulse being played properly here by Talon, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter, as the rest of Sinister is getting absolutely shredded. You see Chap is not in a great position as that smoke. He is going to be able to deny Sour planting the diffuser in the immediate, but Sour just needs to wait a little bit as the second gas canister pops out. That was one on top of another.
That was definitely a mistake. I mean, there was literally no reason to pop that second one. Might have been a misclick, but either way, Sour is going to get away with getting some of that plant down. But no, in the end, Chapstick wins that fight.
Chapstick taking out the initial planter, but he's out of gas canisters now, and he won't be able to deny the plant any longer. Thomas will take out Billboard from above. So that's those drops we talked about earlier coming into play. Oh, just over the head of the Pulse. And Thomas will get the final last kills as Chapstick gets 2 for himself. So Nomads do take the round, but it was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah, definitely a tough one. Well played by Chapstick on the smoke outside of the misplay of getting the first throw. He did at least get the second one in terms of, the third one to get that kill. But nonetheless, that got a little scrappy there towards the end. Definitely more so than I think Nomads would have liked. We'll see if they can play it a little smarter this time, though. Unfortunately, that Yellow run into that Claymore really cost them, because that could have been a valuable flank. That is definitely not going to happen. So we'll see. I think the rounds where Yellow goes off, it definitely goes a lot better for Sinister overall. And the rounds where he gets shut down early, it doesn't seem to go as well. It's not that it all revolves around him, but he just seems to be an important factor. Billboard going to sneak off of that, do the reverse of the 6-pick, and go to the mirror, which makes more sense here as they try lockers a second time.
I think it makes sense that they're going to go lockers a second time. They were unsuccessful, but it seemed like they were still putting up a fight. A big portion of that round was the efficiency that Nomads had with clearing out the drop downs and establishing that vertical control. If Sinister can put some pressure onto the drops and deny the just outright immediate control that Nomads had, then I think this is still winnable as a hold. And it looks like that's something they're keen on doing. As you can see, they're applying some utility to the very top floor, as well as that Archives Tellers area, which is a good position to use if you want to deny the drops being opened up.
Yeah, definitely Cookie setting up those castle barricades upstairs definitely means they want to play for some top floor control. Whether or not that will cost them a life or get them something is definitely up for debate. They are going with that open the whole wall strategy we've seen some teams do. I think I remember Evil Geniuses being one of the teams doing that first, and it was somewhat effective. Talon going to be actually playing that aggressive pulse to an extent, but he's playing it in terms of trying to catch them when they're going to be in sewers, hopefully before they're up against his face. But it doesn't look like they want to push sewers just yet. Anyways, they could even be going for a garage take here. Look how many people are making this push, and I don't think they have any intel to be able to spot this. No cameras out here. There's a lion already going to stop them from potentially spotting it early by pushing up against them. This could be an interesting take if it works.
Yeah, but it's completely collapsed upon so far. Cookies will take out Glitch, and Candelas will bounce harmlessly into nothingness. Sour looking for a long angle, but not able to find it. There's no one playing it from Sinister right now. He's got a good position, though. If he can get the thermite charge off, he might be able to do some extra damage, cut off that red hallway, though it's unlikely that he'll be allowed to do it. You can see the chap smoke so close right now. Cookies gets a second kill onto Rainbow. He's just treading these attackers as they attempt to push through the garage. X will take out Yellow, so a good refrag, a very important one at that, but he's not able to do any more work immediately. Sour will finally shut down Cookies in the ace bomb site, so good job, nice shot. And now that crossfire is lessened from Sinister. What a push from Sour as well into Chap, and a third for Sour. The play from the Thermite here turning into the Fragmite, leaving Talon the final defender. He's got so much time he's got to work against here. The C4 will miss the Thermite inside of B, but the shots will land onto X. He hears Thomas drop right behind him, but unable to hit the twist as Thomas gets that final kill. Nomads will take another round.
Definitely, I don't know. I was going to say a good take, then I was going to say a bad take. It was a very mixed bag take. It was, again, they went to push with that Habana as their entry fragger into it. I mean, doesn't matter as much if you're not trying to get hatches anyways, but again, why? Why throw them in there with that operator? You might as well just put them on Ash at that point, but it might have been a late call in terms of deciding, you know what, let's just push in garage. We see some opportunity here. They don't have anything to stop us. They're committing some utility to upstairs. Well, let's just go for a sweep down. But it just barely worked, and most of that was due to Sour's play. Sour really salvaged that round for them. They'd even burned both of their EE1Ds with still a minute 30 left, so they didn't have anything to stop rotations from the defenders themselves when they didn't even have as much map control yet. So Sour's plays very well done. Although, to be fair, I suppose that push in from the Habana could have worked out had the timing been better in terms of him just pushing right into the B site, but what a risky play, just barely paying off. We'll see CEO now be the defensive secondary choice here.
I think a more typical secondary choice, though I'm surprised, to be honest, that we haven't seen Teller's Archives yet from either team. That's just completely going into the back corner. Sinister are setting up a very default hold here. They have not brought a castle, which means there's a little bit less defensive validity, in my opinion. I mean, you're not going to be able to deny as many angles. You know, usually you'd see that castle brought to maybe be put on the windows that face towards the main lobby, or maybe on the meeting hall doorway to allow your Mira player to be a little bit safer, but it's just not going to happen here. Instead, they're actually going to play pretty openly on this top floor, so you can see having even the echo in the garage, rather the elevator, for example. Yeah. And this is a dangerous position because it means you only have the one rotation, which is that open drop down, and that could be cut off relatively easily by the attackers.
It's interesting, yeah, they're playing a 3 ACOG strategy. So with that openness, they're hoping that they're going to out-peak the attackers, that they're going to get those kills before the attackers get map control because of the long angles that they can control. But like you said, this is a dangerous game they're playing. This is going to depend on them landing their shots and being very effective, and also managing to keep a fair amount of map control so that there's no flanks coming out from Nomads. But Nomads, I imagine, are going to drone this to an extent and be able to catch those. I don't know, it's going to depend on Sinister's execution early in the round here to slow this down.
So the Excaros on the east-facing walls over by the open air, or the open skylight. It's going to allow for lines of sight, but it also means that Sour is going to have a really difficult time if he wants to thermite these walls. I don't know how I feel about the use of the Habana here.
I guess the point is to stop any kind of impact tricking or something, but Sour doing just fine again. He's definitely found his role. He is not playing a fragging operator, but he is absolutely fragging out with it. So good on him. He's even the diffuse carrier and still getting some of those early kills, which is a little bit risky, but seems to be paying off so far.
Yeah, managing to take down Yellow on that Rook. You still got to deal with those mirror windows, though, so the push is not viable just yet. Rainbow setting up seemingly to do just that, but he's going to have to deal with Echo in that elevator. EE1D will force these defenders to stand still before the Candelas offer a distraction over by the main stairs. And here comes the slow push. Sour seemingly has opened up the rest of that wall, and he's waiting for his opportunity to push. Talon from the the elevator will get his first kill before being immediately refragged by X. So Sinister still in it, but Nomads in the driver's seat right now as the second X-Garros finally detonates. Billboard takes out X using a C4 from a range, and Rainbow just pushing into the site with relative ease. The Candelas into Meeting Hall are going to offer him a little bit of cover, and the Candela right in front of him will blind his opponent, who is also just on the other side of that wall. But he doesn't need to push. He wants to, but he doesn't have to. He knows that he just needs to cover for that defuse, which has been planted. Chap looking for a fight, but he's unable to find it. He's now the final defender as Sour gets a double kill, and he just walks by the Ying. He might actually work this to his advantage, though, if he just looks behind him. Nope, he's not going to do that. Rainbow will finish off Chap, as a little bit of a mistake there from the smoke. Potentially actually working to his favor, but not quite. And yet again, a round for Nomads.
Another good round for Sour, as I was talking about that initial kill from his, and then a double kill later, a 3K from the Thermite. That's the diffuse carrier. We were talking about them pushing in, for example, with Habana as their entry fragger. Maybe their hard breachers are the fraggers on the team.
Seems that way.
Yeah, and you were questioning whether or not Thermite was going to be able to get away with opening up that wall. He certainly did as well, so
yeah.
Interesting. I like the way they were all laying down also in CEO. You saw an opportunity for the smoke to get both of them had they not been laying down, one behind the desk, one behind the wall, because he opened up the wall but couldn't see either of them. So smart play. The Candelas coming out, like you said, didn't necessarily have to be pushed because it was more to kind of delay for the diffuse plant. So good execution once they got control of CEO office, which those early Habanas, I guess, it helped establish that, not to mention the early frag from Sour as well. We'll see if they can fare as well on lockers again. They're going to go for that.
So, not a single victory on defense so far for Sinister. Seems to be the place that they struggle the most. They ended the first half victorious, 3-2 in their favor, but they have just not been able to make anything work for them here in this second half.
I guess that's what happens when your Thermite's just going around slaying everybody.
Yeah, Sour has really been standing up for a Nomads and, well, making his team win this match. Now, they're one round away from doing just that.
Well, we'll see if the adjustments here downstairs will work out. Like you said, they have yet to win any of these. They're not going to try and bring the clash this time on this defense. That didn't seem to do a whole lot for Billboard last time. But that attack was pretty back and forth.
See, the difficult thing about Clash is while she's really, really useful, and then definitely a good operator, if your team is unable to get kills, if they're getting torn apart, then she's not that great, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you're left in a situation like a 2 versus 4, 2 versus 5, and you're playing Clash, you're thinking to yourself, oh, great. This is not going to be easy.
I mean, the upside, you can potentially spot for the other guy, but you're dependent entirely on the other guy to do the killing for you.
Yeah, it's just
not great.
It's too easy to isolate.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have a more dynamic relationship with your team as a Clash than just, hey, this one guy, you and me, let's go kill things. Yeah. I mean, you could do that, like in theory, like on a roaming duo type deal. That is, sure, viable. But even then, you're exposing yourself. So I think, yeah, you need to have a team backing you up to play Clash effectively. And sometimes that's just not going to happen. Drop downs opened up within a minute here for Nomads. So about the same as what we've seen from them in the past when clearing into that open area, trying to get pressure onto the basement. No resistance being put up by Sinister.
Yeah, and they're not going for garage push this time, which is good, because that was a little bit hairy, not their best take. But like you said, getting control of these hatches early on, first minute, that's a good start for that. If they can get server stairs as well, this execute could be pretty effective. Of course, they still have to worry about Chapstick Smokes, which did get the kill last time onto Sour when he tried to go for that plant. Talon is playing that gold vault you were talking about earlier as the pulse as well. So they should have the timing on their side here. They don't have an echo that we saw, for example, from Nomads on that defense to also help with that. But either way, they have the utility to make this work if they can get the right intel from Talon.
He's definitely calling out that this is going to be a server push as the drop-downs have been opened up. That much is apparent for Sinister. Here come the Candelas to try and distract. They are actually just being used to bait things out. What a shot from Rainbow through the bars onto Cookies. EE1Ds and Candelos after the C4 missed, and the smokes are going to be too little too late. Nomads will get that defuse plant with relative ease. And does not look like Sinister are going to be in a good position to retake this. They're going to start moving their way up the main stairs. They know they have to retake the drop-downs if they want to then later take the actual site. But Thomas is watching that easy double kill through the melee hole. Two of the Sinister players go down, and a third from X on the drop-down, leaving just Talon, and he is absolutely wiped off the table. A one-sided round, if I've ever seen one, from Nomads, and they will win map number 1, 6-3.
Good half indeed. They just destroyed on those attack runs. They didn't even get to go to a fifth one. Just excellent play all around on their attacks, and Sinister just seeming bamboozled in terms of that last attack, just getting caught off guard left and right by Rainbow and Thomas as well. Just
gotta say, bamboozled is the right word there. That was a pretty dominant round for Nomads.